3 days before our wedding, my fiancé flew to the Bahamas with his ex, all planned by his mom. 3 days before the wedding, my fiancé went on a trip with his ex, planned by his mother. I whispered to myself, staring at the text message that shattered my world. My hands trembled as I read it again. Boarding now, Bahamas with Jessica. Mom insisted. Back in time for the rehearsal dinner. Love you. Emma. The words from Ethan, my fiancé, burned into my retinas 3 days before our wedding. And he was jetting off to a tropical island with his ex-girlfriend, Jessica, orchestrated by his mother, Linda. My stomach churned, bile rising as I stood in the bridal boutique, surrounded by lace and satin, the dress I was supposed to wear in 72 hours mocking me from the mirror. The boutique's soft music felt like a funeral dirge. I clutched my phone, my maid of honor, Sophia, noticing my pallor. "Emma, you okay?" she asked, her voice distant. I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. I shoved the phone into her hands. Her eyes widened as she read, her jaw dropping. "What the hell is this? He's with Jessica? And Linda planned it?" she hissed, her voice low but sharp enough to cut through the haze. I stumbled to a velvet chair, my legs giving out. "Why would he do this?" I managed, my voice cracking. Sophia knelt beside me, her hand on my arm, but my mind was spiraling. Ethan and Jessica had dated for 4 years before we met. They'd broken up 2 years ago, and he swore they were done, that she was ancient history. Yet here he was, on a plane with her, and his mother, Linda, who'd never warmed to me, had orchestrated it. The betrayal was a double-edged knife, Ethan's choice and Linda's manipulation. My phone buzzed again. A message from Linda herself. I opened it, dreading what I'd find. "Emma, don't overreact. Ethan needs closure with Jessica. It's just a quick trip. You'll thank me later." The audacity of her words hit like a slap. "You'll thank me later," I said aloud, my voice rising. Drawing stares from the boutique staff, Sophia grabbed the phone, reading the message, her face darkening. "This woman is unhinged," she said. "Closure? 3 days before your wedding? This isn't closure, it's sabotage." I wanted to scream, to call Ethan and demand answers, but the boutique's pastel walls were closing in. I thought of the past year, Linda's subtle digs, her insistence that Ethan and Jessica had been perfect together, her reluctance to help with wedding plans. Had she been plotting this all along? And Ethan, how could he agree? The man who'd proposed under a starlit sky, who'd promised me forever, was now on a plane with the woman his mother clearly preferred. Sophia squeezed my hand. "Emma, you don't have to take this. Call him. Confront him now." But my throat tightened. What would I even say? I imagined Ethan's voice, calm and rational, dismissing my pain as overreacting, just like his mother had. The thought made my blood boil. No, I wouldn't just call and beg for explanations. I needed to understand why, how, and what they were hiding. This wasn't just a trip. It was a betrayal layered with secrets. I stood, wiping my eyes, my shock hardening into something sharper. "Sophia," I said, my voice steadier, "I'm not letting this go. I'm going to find out what's really happening." She nodded, her eyes fierce. "Good. Let's burn this down." I didn't know where to start, but the fire in my chest told me I wouldn't let Linda or Ethan destroy me without a fight. The next morning, I woke with a headache that felt like a hammer against my skull. Ethan's text from last night, landed safely, having dinner with Jess, talk tomorrow, babe, sat unanswered on my phone. Each word twisted the knife deeper. Dinner with Jessica, while I was here, canceling florist appointments because my hands wouldn't stop shaking. Sophia had stayed over, her presence the only thing keeping me from unraveling completely, but even she couldn't shield me from the growing whispers in my head. What else don't I know? I sat at my kitchen table, coffee untouched, staring at the engagement ring on my finger. It felt like a lie now, a glittering shackle. Sophia slid into the chair across from me, her phone buzzing with notifications. "Emma, you need to eat something," she said, pushing a plate of toast my way. I shook my head. Food was the last thing on my mind. "I called my cousin, Ava," Sophia continued, her tone cautious. "She's a travel agent. I asked her to check Ethan's flight details." My eyes snapped to hers. "And?" My voice was hoarse, barely above a whisper. Sophia hesitated, then slid her phone toward me. "Ava got into the airline system. Ethan and Jessica didn't book one-way tickets to the Bahamas. They booked a round trip, but the return is after the wedding date." Her words landed like a punch. I gripped the table, my knuckles whitening. "After," I repeated, my mind racing. "He said he'd be back for the rehearsal dinner." "There's more," Sophia said, her voice dropping. "The tickets were paid for by Linda's credit card, and Ava found a hotel reservation. Same place, 2 rooms, but under Ethan's name for both. 2 rooms didn't ease the sting, it only raised more questions. Why was Linda funding this? Why hadn't Ethan told me the truth about the return date? I felt like I was drowning in a sea of half-truths. I stood, pacing the kitchen, my bare feet cold against the tiles. I missed something. Sophia, all those times Linda joked about Jessica being the one who got away, or when Ethan got weird about his phone, I should have seen it. My voice cracked, anger mixing with shame. I'd been so caught up in wedding plans, so trusting, that I'd ignored the red flags. Sophia leaned forward, her eyes intense. "Don't do that to yourself. They hid this. But we're not done digging." She pulled up her laptop, her fingers flying across the keys. "I've been checking Jessica's social media. She posted a story last night. Nothing obvious. Just a sunset over the ocean. But the geotag? It's a private resort. Exclusive. The kind of place you don't just drop by for closure." My stomach twisted. A private resort, paid for by Linda. I thought of Ethan's casual texts, his assurances that this was no big deal. The betrayal wasn't just the trip. It was the secrecy, the planning, the way they all assumed I'd just accept it. I felt dismissed, like a side character in my own life. "I need to talk to someone who knows Linda," I said, my voice hardening. "Someone who'll tell me what she's really up to." Sophia nodded. "What about Olivia? She's been Linda's friend for years, but she's always been nice to you." Olivia, the soft-spoken woman who'd brought a homemade pie to our engagement party, who'd seemed genuinely happy for us. If anyone could shed light on Linda's motives, it was her. I grabbed my phone and dialed Olivia's number, my heart pounding. She picked up on the second ring. "Emma, hi, how's wedding prep?" Her cheerfulness felt like a mockery. "Olivia," I said, forcing calm, "I need to ask you something. About Linda and Ethan's trip." There was a long pause, then a sigh. "Oh, honey," she said, her voice softening. "I told Linda this was a bad idea. She's always had a soft spot for Jessica, but I didn't think she'd go this far." My breath caught. "Go how far?" I pressed. Olivia hesitated. "It's not just the trip. Linda's been pushing Ethan to reconsider things. She thinks you're not right for him. She's been meeting with Jessica for months, planning this reunion. I thought Ethan would say no, but—" Her voice trailed off, leaving me frozen. Months. This wasn't a spontaneous trip. It was a campaign, and Ethan had gone along with it. I thanked Olivia, my voice mechanical, and hung up. Sophia was watching me, her eyes wide. "What did she say?" she asked. I recounted Olivia's words, each one fueling the fire in my chest. I wasn't just fighting Ethan's betrayal now, I was up against Linda's obsession and a web of lies I hadn't seen coming. The wedding was in 2 days, and my fiancé was on an island, possibly rekindling an old flame. While his mother pulled the strings, I felt alone. But the isolation was sharpening my resolve. I wasn't going to let them rewrite my story. I wasn't going to wait for Ethan to come back and feed me excuses. The wedding was tomorrow. And I was done being the naive fiancé who trusted blindly. My apartment had become a war room, with Sophia and me hunched over laptops and phones, piecing together the puzzle of Ethan, Jessica, and Linda's scheme. The air was thick with coffee fumes and determination. I'd spent the morning canceling vendors, not because I'd given up, but because I needed control. If there was going to be a reckoning, it would be on my terms. Sophia's cousin Ava called with another bombshell. "Emma, I dug deeper into Linda's credit card transactions," she said, her voice tense. "She didn't just pay for the trip. There's a wire transfer, $10,000, to Jessica's account. Dated 2 weeks ago." My heart stopped. $10,000? For what? A bribe? A payoff? I thanked Ava, my mind racing. This wasn't just about closure anymore. There was something bigger at play, something Linda and Jessica were banking on. I needed an ally, someone inside their circle who'd crack under pressure. That's when I remembered Noah, Ethan's best friend since college. Noah had always been kind to me. Even when Linda's coldness made family gatherings awkward, he'd been at our engagement party, toasting to our future. But he'd also been close to Jessica back in the day. If anyone knew what Ethan was really doing in the Bahamas, it was him. I texted Noah, keeping it vague, "Can we talk? It's urgent." About Ethan? He replied within minutes, agreeing to meet at a quiet diner across town. When I arrived, Noah was already there, nursing a coffee, his face pale. "Emma," he said as I slid into the booth. "I swear I didn't know about the trip until yesterday." His eyes darted away, and I knew he was holding something back. "Don't lie to me, Noah," I said, my voice low but sharp. "I know about the trip, the hotel, the money Linda paid Jessica. What's going on?" He flinched, running a hand through his hair. After a long pause, he leaned in, his voice barely audible. "Ethan's not himself. Linda's been in his head for months, saying you're too independent, that you'll leave him when you figure out who you are. She's obsessed with Jessica because Jessica's controllable." My blood ran cold. "Controllable?" I repeated, my voice shaking. Noah nodded. "Linda's got this idea that Jessica will do whatever she wants. Keep Ethan in line. She's been promising Jessica a stake in the family business if she can, win him back. The family business, Ethan's dad's real estate firm, worth millions." I felt sick. This wasn't just meddling. It was a calculated move to secure Linda's vision of the future. "There's more," Noah said, his voice breaking. "Ethan's been lying to you about money. He took out a loan, 20 grand, behind your back. Linda co-signed it. He told me it was for wedding expenses, but I saw a bank statement. Half of it went to Jessica's account, same day as Linda's transfer." My vision blurred with rage. Ethan had used our future to fund his mother's plan, funneling money to his ex while I was picking out centerpieces. I leaned back, my mind spinning. Noah's confession was the leverage I needed, but it wasn't enough. I had to prove Linda's interference and Ethan's complicity beyond doubt. "Noah," I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside, "I need you to get me that bank statement. And anything else you can find. Texts, emails, anything that shows what they're planning." He hesitated, then nodded. "I owe you that much. Ethan's my friend, but it's wrong." Back at my apartment, Sophia was waiting with another twist. She'd hacked into Linda's old email account. Don't ask me how. Sophia's always been resourceful. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a message from Linda to Jessica, sent a month ago. "He's wavering, but he'll come around. Keep pushing. The wedding's your deadline." My stomach dropped. Jessica wasn't just a pawn. She was an active player, working to sabotage my life. I spent the night gathering evidence. Noah's screenshots of Ethan's bank transactions, Linda's email, Ava's travel records. Each piece was a brick in the wall I was building. The rehearsal dinner was tonight, and Ethan was supposedly flying back for it. I didn't know if he'd show, but I was ready. I'd confront him and Linda in front of everyone, family, friends, the whole damn wedding party. They thought they could break me, but I was done playing the victim. I slipped Noah's evidence into my purse, my hands steady for the first time in days. This wasn't just about saving a wedding anymore. It was about taking back my life, fake. The rehearsal dinner was a glittering trap, set in a private room at an upscale restaurant, all chandeliers and white tablecloths. I stood at the entrance, my heart pounding, clutching the folder of evidence in my purse. Ethan was there, laughing with his groomsmen, his face tanned from the Bahamas, as if he hadn't just torn my world apart. Linda sat at the head table, her smile smug, chatting with Jessica, who'd had the audacity to show up. The sight of them together fueled my resolve. This ended tonight. I'd planned every step with Sophia and Noah, who'd slipped me Ethan's latest text to Jessica, sent this morning. I'm still confused, but I'll figure it out after the dinner. Don't tell Mom yet. It was the final nail in the coffin. Ethan wasn't just complicit. He was playing both sides, stringing me along while keeping Jessica in his orbit. I took a deep breath and walked in, my heels clicking against the hardwood, every eye turning to me. Ethan's smile faltered as he saw the fire in my eyes. "Emma, you look stunning," he said, crossing the room to kiss my cheek. I pulled back, my voice steady. "We need to talk, all of us." I gestured to Linda and Jessica, who froze, their faces masks of false innocence. The room went quiet, forks clinking against plates as guests sensed the shift. Linda stood, her voice syrupy. "Emma, dear, let's not make a scene. This is a celebration." "A celebration?" I said, my voice cutting through the tension. "Let's celebrate the truth." Then, I pulled the folder from my purse and slammed it on the table, papers spilling out. Bank statements, emails, travel records. "Ethan, you lied about the Bahamas. You weren't back for the rehearsal like you promised. You took a loan behind my back and funneled money to Jessica. And Linda, you paid her $10,000 to sabotage our wedding." Gasps rippled through the room. Ethan's face went white. Linda's eyes narrowed. "Emma, you're overreacting," Ethan stammered, but I held up a hand. "Don't. I have your text to Jessica, sent today. You're confused? After promising me forever?" I turned to Jessica, who was shrinking in her seat. "And you? Linda's emails show you've been plotting this for months, chasing a stake in the family business." I tossed the email printout onto the table, Linda's words glaring in black and white. "He's wavering, but he'll come around." Linda's composure cracked. "You've gone too far, Emma," she hissed. "You're not right for my son. Jessica understands our family." I laughed, the sound bitter. "Your family? You mean your control? You manipulated Ethan, paid off his ex, and thought I'd just walk away. But I'm done being your pawn." I faced Ethan, my voice breaking but strong. "I loved you. I trusted you. But you chose this betrayal." I slid the engagement ring off my finger and dropped it on the table, the clink echoing. The room was silent, every guest staring. Noah stood, his voice firm. "She's telling the truth." I saw the bank statements. "Ethan, you screwed up," Sophia nodded, her eyes blazing. As other guests murmured, some pulling out phones to record, I turned to the crowd, my voice steady. "This wedding's off, but I'm not broken. I'm free." I walked out, head high, Sophia and Noah flanking me, behind me. I heard Linda's protests, Ethan stammering, but I didn't look back. Outside, the night air hit my face, cool and sharp. I'd expose them, but the cost was my future with Ethan, a future I now knew was built on lies. The next day, I met with a lawyer, armed with the evidence. Ethan's loan fraud and Linda's financial manipulation were enough for a case. I filed for a restraining order against Linda and pressed charges against Ethan for misusing joint funds. The legal battle would be long, but I was ready. I'd lost a fiancé, but I'd gained something fiercer, my own strength. As I sat in my apartment, papers spread out, I wondered what the guests thought, what they'd do in my place. Would they forgive, fight, or walk away? Like I did, and rebuild?